Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Max, and today I wanted to do the first video in a series that I'm going to do regarding theories for certain shows or movies, and I figured there'd be no better way to start this off than kicking it into full gear with my favorite show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Alright, so Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a show that was on ABC for 7 years, and they got 7 seasons. It ended in the summer of 2020, and it was a fantastic show. It's my favorite show of all time. Coulson became my favorite Marvel character of all time because of that show, and the rest of the cast and just everybody who worked on the show, doing designs, the writing, just everything about it was perfect, and I really hope Marvel acknowledges it in the future. Now, Marvel acknowledging Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the future ties into a theory I had about WandaVision. So when it comes to WandaVision, we've gotten the first 4 episodes now, and they've been amazing. I think the story's really coming together. We're kind of getting perspectives from a bunch of different characters, and it'll be really interesting to see how it all unravels and ties into the MCU in the future. So regarding this first video, I wanted to talk about the Darkhold. I think the Darkhold is something that could either be in a way manipulating Wanda, or Wanda could be using it to manipulate reality. Now, there are going to be spoilers in this video for both WandaVision and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so if you don't want spoilers for either of those shows, I highly recommend watching all of those shows and then coming back to this video. But if you don't care about spoilers, feel free to stick around. So, the Darkhold in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is this book basically of dark magic. Basically, to kind of break it down, Dr. Holden Radcliffe and Leopold Fitz build a robot, essentially, an AI-driven robot who's supposed to follow their command, and her name is Ada. Now, Ada eventually, reads the Darkhold to help Dr. Radcliffe create this thing called the Framework. The Framework is a place where you kind of plug yourself in, and you are in this almost like an alternate reality, but it's more of a simulation. And then Ada eventually, whether it was because she was corrupted by the Darkhold or it was a problem with her AI, she eventually, turns evil and then wants to put everybody in S.H.I.E.L.D. within the Framework because it's a world that she controls, where they work together as the heads of Hydra, and Hydra is kind of seen as the S.H.I.E.L.D. of that world. People don't trust S.H.I.E.L.D., they trust Hydra. And that ties into the blue soap commercial that we saw in WandaVision. They mentioned Hydra soap, which is a blue soap, and in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, which is where all this Framework stuff takes place, Coulson is talking to Daisy, and he mentions the blue soap, the blue mind control soap that they use to implant memories into people. I think this could be a clue that the Darkhold is being tied into the story. Whether the Darkhold would tie directly into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is another question, but I think the blue soap could be a clue that the Darkhold that was used to create the Framework could be playing into this whole notion of Wanda creating her own reality using the Darkhold as well. So the first clue to me that this could be the case is that Wanda doesn't seem like herself. We saw that the dark side really kind of corrupts people. Robbie Reyes' uncle, Robbie Reyes is Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and his uncle is kind of corrupted by this book, and he wants to use the dark magic to build different things, and there's kind of, whole other storylines that branch off of that, but essentially the book corrupts people. So Wanda, especially what we saw in episode 4, where she sends Geraldine, or now who we now know as Monica Rambeau, out of the kind of force field that she has set up. Now, if Wanda used the Darkhold to create this reality, I think she could absolutely be kind of doing what she wants in terms of creating a life with vision, but taking it to the extreme under the influence of the Darkhold. And this would also explain kind of how the world works, because it seems like the world is definitely a physical world. And we know that now, seeing how Monica was thrown out. But it's the Framework in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. works in a way where if you die in the Framework, you die in real life. Yes, the Framework is something that's kind of connected and you're kind of put under to be put into it, whereas Wanda's reality is a lot more kind of present and physical. but it seems to act in the exact same way where Monica was kind of thrown into this world and then she was essentially changed. You know, when you're in the framework, you are changed. You are this different version of who you are by kind of taking away your biggest regret. So I think that could really play into the Wanda story and kind of how all of that world is being pieced together. Now, the Darkhold can do a lot of things. We see that there's different powers that can come from it. We see that, people can essentially be turned into ghosts. They can give you the answers to really anything you want, but it is using dark magic. And I think this could be how Wanda brought Vision back or is reanimating Vision. Because we saw in the clip after Wanda threw Monica out that Vision came into the room and he asked where Geraldine was. And then, it was kind of like the same thing as the third episode where Wanda says, oh, she went home. But, when it comes to this kind of look at the scene we get, it's not in the sitcom style. It's more of like a reality, normal Marvel film style, if that makes sense. And when Wanda turns around, Vision is as he was at the end of Infinity War, where he's dead, he's kind of gray, he's almost zombified, the stone's ripped out of his head. And I've heard some people say that this could be reality kind of seeping into Wanda's world. But if it is the Darkhold, she could be using that to reanimate Vision's corpse. And the reanimation of Vision's corpse is not a new theory that's been out there, but it would make sense how Wanda could do that with the Darkhold, and it is dark magic, so she couldn't fully bring him back, but maybe it could play into something similar like the framework where it takes away your one regret or something you wish was different, and for Wanda that would be Vision's death or something involving Vision's death. So this about does it for the first video. Really just kind of talking about the Darkhold and what it could possibly be doing to influence Wanda or play into what Wanda wants to do, and Wanda's not exactly conscious of what she's doing fully, and maybe the reality is manipulating her as well, but we'll have to wait and see. So thank you so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.